So you are a mature adult who would like to have an equal partnership with somebody, and you're in a relationship with someone who struggles to take ownership and responsibility for their side of the problem. So in a relationship, there's obviously two people. So therefore, two people are impacting each other, like the kind of figure eight thing that I told you about before. And so both people have a role to play in the communication and the health of the relationship. And often people who are highly avoidant really find this very, very difficult. And the reason why is because they have a very deep wound within themselves that they don't want to feel, which makes them feel like they are bad and they are wrong. And this is the shame wound, okay? So where people have got a lot of shame, you'll often find that those are the people that want to blame the outside. So it feels very difficult for them to say sorry, because that would mean directly addressing the part of them that thinks that they are bad and wrong, and that is too difficult for them. So there's a really unconscious protective mechanism happening here. It doesn't mean that an avoidant is a bad person, which is what they think of themselves deep down, or on some level they fear that they are, because that might have been the environment that they grew up in. There might have been a lot of blaming in their environment when they were younger. Maybe they had siblings who pointed out their faults, or there was a lot of criticism. Or it might not have been an environment where apologies were modelled. So it's not familiar to them to take accountability. Or it might have been that actually they weren't given consequences to their actions, and so they never learnt how to apologise, how to take responsibility. So there's lots of reasons why this can happen, but essentially if you're wanting an apology from someone who is avoidant, you might be waiting a really long time, because what they have to do to get there is to really sit with the uncomfortable emotions that are present when they say, I'm sorry. Because, if you're able to say I'm sorry, it means that you have some level of ability to sit with a very uncomfortable feeling, which is, saying that you're wrong, admitting that you're wrong, is a really vulnerable thing to do. And quite often, a lot of the arguments that people have in relationships are because of this, I'm right and you're wrong, I'm right and you're wrong. And I'm telling you, you just don't get anywhere when you're trying to be right. Even now, with where you are right now, you might be like, I know I'm right. I know that if they could just see this, if they could just, take responsibility, even you pushing that is really going to create a disconnection, because it has to really come from their own willingness. And the only real way that they're going to get there is by having a bit of distance and space to reflect on it on their own without pressure. I've seen it happen over and over again where, I've been so frustrated and hurt by something and I've really wanted an apology. And then, in time, when I just kind of let it go, when I'm not pushing for it, not trying to explain and not trying to make sense of it, that's usually when it comes, when I've kind of let this person just go off and be with themselves, forget about it, accept that they can't hear me, and just get on with my life. And I've got lots of people who in my life who are avoidant, and I notice this as a common theme with them, that they don't apologise under pressure to apologise. But, in a breakup situation, it can feel horrible, because you think, why are they not reflecting, or why are they not fighting for me, or why is this breakup not activating some kind of urgency to take responsibility for their part, which is what you kind of want. But where you're working with someone who's got a shame wound, that's really hard for them to do, and they're more likely to push it down, retreat, blame you, blame the world, because that feels a lot easier. So all you can do is take a step back and really understand that it's not your fault that they can't see their part in it. It's not your fault, because it's two people. You will have impacted them and they will have impacted you, but you want to be with someone who is mature enough and responsible enough to be able to own their own part, because that's how you have a mature relationship. So the key thing that I want you to know with this is just don't take it personally, and don't take it as truth, with the fact that, you know, they might have walked away, might have shut down, might, really be very stonewally or distant and whatever. And that can then make you feel really responsible and make you kind of panic, like, what can I do? What can I do? But you're working with someone who is struggling with a deep shame wound. So all you can do is know that it isn't your fault that that's their wound, and work on your panic that's making you want to try harder. I really know how horrible this can feel, being on the receiving end of it, because you're so logical in the way you're thinking, and you're connected to your emotions, and you just really want to be able to have, like, I'm sorry for my part, I can see that you're sorry for your part, and we love each other, so let's just work on it. That's what you really want to do. But they don't make that easy, because you're being faced with this block of, this is too difficult for me to take responsibility. And so in time, they've got to go through their own experiences in life that help them to activate this feeling. And if you keep chasing, and if you keep asking, if you keep clarifying, if you keep explaining yourself to them, that's going to basically pressure them and make them go, I don't know what you're talking about, and I can't do this. And so the best thing you can do is take a step back, know that it's not your fault. It's not all your fault. At the very least, it's certainly not all your fault, because there's no fault really in this actually at all, because it's just two people impacting each other. It's just the co-creation of the relationship. But what you want is a conscious relationship where you both become aware of how you're impacting each other. Yeah. So your mirror here is the panic that you might be feeling, and the sadness and the grief that you might be feeling about not getting an apology, and what that means to you and about you. Because where you might have been making it mean, why have they just left me? Why are they like this? And you are making it mean a lot about you, which is why it feels so horrible. But that's probably a pattern from your own past, where you've taken responsibility for the relationship. You have taken full responsibility for the health of the relationship, and you might have been doing that for a long time in other relationships too. It might be reflecting a pattern that you learnt when you were younger, that you felt responsible for people's happiness and the way people show up for you. But actually, this is your opportunity to go, no, it's not all up to me. This is a two-way street, and I have needs and feelings too that matter. And so if you get anything from this video, I hope it's that. So I hope you found this video useful. If you'd like to talk to me about your own personal situation, I'd love to hear from you. I've got one-to-one options, and I've got group coaching as well, which is amazing. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.